there was an On3 article going around last week that high school guys are making like 25K a month to like honor their commitments. So I wanted to ask you what your NIL demand would have been.
We're talking 25K a month and they're still in high school.
Hmm?
Is that what you're saying to
Yeah,
me?
so you commit and they're like, to stay committed, we're gonna give you 20K a month.
Yeah, they'll probably keep me to stay. How much I make right? Like, I don't even make 20K a month right now.
Would you ask for a helicopter? Like, what would you like? Would you get a car? Like, what would have to be your like NIL
So
thing
I'd
if
be
you
in
were like
LA
one of
at the
them
time,
ones?
so I have to consider that. I'd want a Jeep. That'd be so sick, like a doorless Jeep, just whip around. That'd be the coolest thing ever. And then yeah, gas paid for as well. And then I would take like honestly, I'd probably like after negotiating that, I'd be like, you only have to give me like 10K a month. That'd be a nice guy. Like I want good teammates. So like I'm actually a team player. Like I want
Team player.
I just want the Jeep and gas paid for and and 10K a month and we'll be straight. Like I'm all for it and I'll help you even, recruit some guys to join my squad and hopefully they can get that cash in for 20K because, growing up, I was probably a lot more 20K a month is 20K a month, but grew up a lot more blessed than a lot of those recruits out there and
20K a month is a lot of money.
Oh, it's period point blank. I mean, that's the goal. So,
Yeah.
that's just. I feel like that's. I feel like that's overpaying. Like if they're not bought in, they're not bought in.
Feels like it.
Yeah, I think that's why we're still
That's what
seeing
I'm
the
saying.
level of recruits that nationally recognized level of recruits that Cignetti's bringing in. Obviously, he's finding his gems, his diamonds in the rough, and yeah, that's going to continue. It seems like Indiana is the gold standard in terms of how they're allocating money. So they're giving stipends to the freshmen. I don't know how much, but it's nothing to the likes of what Mendoza is getting, what Pons probably got, what Fisher got, what Farrell got to stay, and because I think like I said, the checks and balances are working itself out. People are realizing that like, yeah, I'm out of high school, but like I'm also like coming out of high school unproven. Like it's just not going to happen. I heard USC paid Mark Bowman, a tight end, $8 million over a 3-year deal to get his commitment from Mater Dei, a school to where, like, you know what? Like Matt Leinart went from Mater Dei to USC. Amon-Ra St. Brown went from Mater Dei to USC. Countless others. The fact that USC has to pay the Mater Dei tight end $8 million over 3 years to get him to go to that school it's crazy, man. It's totally going to work itself out. Like there's going to be, we're going to fast forward 5 years and a lot of those, freshmen that are getting those types. I'm not calling out Mark Bowman or Bryce Underwood or anything like that, but there's going to be freshmen that get lucrative deals coming out of high school and they're not going to pan out. And schools are just going to be like, we don't do that anymore. And it's going to be kind of an industry standard down the line in terms of how that high school recruiting works. Portal, I think that money's still going to be, if you're proven in college, money will be thrown around. But I think it's going to come to a checks and balance to where you're just not going to do that. You're going to spend your money wisely because, you're trying to allocate your 20 to 40 million the best you can and on a given year. That's just 1 year. Right. So you got to do it right. And I think Indiana looks to be the gold standard. Obviously, future will tell.
Yep, I agree. 100% agree. I'm glad you mentioned. Well, you did mention Indiana's recruiting. We did get some recruiting news. I thought we were going to get some more news before we went live. I had my eye on Twitter. There was some Coach Eddie. It's a great day to be a Hoosier.
He might just be feeling the
Noise.
vibe. That's the thing. He might just be messing with you.
Well, I mean, no, we've had
It is
camps
a great
going
day
all
to be a
week,
Hoosier.
and
Like he's totally right. Like
it's always
regardless
a
if the
great
guy
day to be a
commits or not, it's
Hoosier.
always a great day to be a Hoosier.
I'm just saying, it
That's
was
the
a
pitch.
nice week though. We did get a commitment. Kenton Mondeau, offensive tackle, 6'7", 315 from a random high school in Wisconsin. This dude screams Bob Bostad guy. As soon as I clicked on his profile and saw Wisconsin, it told me everything I needed to know about the type
You had
of
me
like
at
what this
6'7". Bookend tackle. Oh my goodness. When's the last time we've had? I think
Bob
Caleb Jones.
Bostad guy.
I think Caleb Jones, who made it to the league for a couple of years, was the last tackle that we had over 6'7". He was 6'8". And just to bring in a being that tall, probably going to project you at right, but you never know. He could be, super mobile and can play left, but we'll see. He's
Wedig was
clearly a
6'7".
bookend tackle, and we'll see which way he plays. Probably will be matched up with Leibfried, on the other tackle in the future.
Wedig was 6'7".
Oh, he wasn't. He was 6'6".
6'7".
You sure?
100%. That's what they list
All
him on the
right.
website.
All
That's
right.
what they.
All right. Got me again. I'm off today. I'm locked in, but I'm also on my off day a little bit. But the energy's here.
I'll give it to you. He was 6'7" on Indiana's website, 6'6" at the combine. So
there you go. Yeah, no, my eye test told me he was 6'6". So,
master of the eye test.
Yeah. So there you go. We're back.
But Henry Ollinger, commit athlete. We think he's coming in to play linebacker. He was part of a track team that won a championship this past week. You look at the multi-sport athletes that this staff likes to target. You have somebody like Henry Ollinger, who's running back, linebacker. Think about the size you have to be to play those two positions. Also athletic enough to medal in track. Those are the types of dudes you want to keep bringing into your program. So super excited for him to
sports in high school. Mom played Division I college athletics. Those are big check marks for me as master of the eye test. Those are big. A lot of weight. I feel like every single there I saw this stat one time. I forget which draft it was, but there's this draft where every single first round pick played multiple sports in high school. Every single one. That's just how
gotta
it goes.
be athletic. Gotta be athletic.
There's no specializing isn't a thing. Never specialize your kid in sports. Never do it.
We alluded to Luke Fahey earlier. We talked about Luke Fahey last week, quarterback target in the class of 26. Kid called Ohio State his dream school, but Indiana's got a chance to get in there before Ohio State does. We talked about brought up that in Mendoza's NBC interview, he called Miami his dream school, but it never got to the point where he even got to Miami because of timing. Indiana gets Fahey on campus for an official visit on the 6th. That's this weekend. He's scheduled to visit Ohio State on the 20th. That's 2 weeks from this weekend. So Indiana's got a chance and a little bit of time to make a really strong impression on a kid that would really help the class of 2026. And if you probably see a quick pivot if it doesn't go exactly according to plan with him this weekend. So we'll probably get some movement on that front in terms of the quarterback position in that class. It's a huge weekend. Obviously, we hope it's Luke Fahey, Mission Viejo kid, West Coast kid. Brad, obviously, master of the eye test, hitting all these blocks, and he's a really fun watch, the huddle. So we'll see.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
What's great is that he's going in with there's 4 other current commits coming in this weekend. It's probably one of the bigger recruiting weekends. Let me double check. I'm going to fact check myself real quick before I say this. Yeah, this would be our biggest. This is our biggest recruiting weekend to date. 11 commits coming into town. Could be 10 because there's a recent Georgia Tech commit on that list. But yeah, 10 coming in, by far the biggest recruiting weekend we have. We have one later has 12 people scheduled to come in. So this is starting to heat up here in terms of building up that 2026 class where we already have nine commits, 10.
I think it's 10. Yeah, Mondeau made it 10. And then I was gonna say I saw there was, I believe it was Matt Wilson. I followed him on Instagram off the Indiana account. But they're finagling in official visits and unofficial visits, and these guys are always working. Like the staff's operating at a different level. So shout out to those guys.
John Terry's younger brother is coming into town this weekend, and I'll bet you $10 he commits by 2 weeks after.
It might be this weekend, hopefully. And then,
I don't think he wants to bet against that. So I don't think he's going to take it. But yeah, he'll probably commit very soon after his visit this weekend.
A player we're super high on, Lawrence Jay Timmons, son of Lawrence Timmons, picked up his 4th star after some awesome performances, ran 4.42 laser at a camp over the weekend. He also, shout out to Timmons, freaky athlete at the position, size, skill, length, all of it. But but he also picked up a Florida State offer. And the only reason why it makes me slightly nervous is because that's where his father played. There's a picture of him as a baby in Florida State gear. So when you have a connection that goes that deep, it obviously makes you nervous. That being said, like I said earlier, Coach Ojong, Coach Ola Adams, two of the best in the business, regardless of level in terms of coaching defensive backs. So obviously, you hope you can keep a kid like that in the room. But regardless, we're in great hands. And like we saw this movie happen with Byron Baldwin Jr., where he committed, he decommitted, kind of flirted with Colorado for a little bit, and then obviously the class that Coach Ola and Coach Ojong were able to put together was able to bring him back into the fold. So, what were your did the Florida State offer make you nervous? What are your kind of thoughts on how this Jay Timmons saga is playing out, I guess? Or
it makes me
recruitment?
nervous in the sense to where Timmons could decommit and go to Florida State. Not nervous in the sense to where I don't think it really, we talked about it earlier, you're either bought in or you're not, so, you want to go somewhere else, you can go somewhere else. And with the portal too, like you can always have boomerangs. Like we talk about how Sam West at the portal to find PT this year. That's a guy that could boomerang back to IU next year as he could be the projected starter, as, we're going to lose, Stays and Nowakowski, but I digress. Back to Timmons. It's all about just building these relationships in high school, and they go a long way once, you get into a portal type era. What's good for us is that Indiana as a program is in a much better spot than Florida State is right now. So, Florida State comes out, beats Alabama week 1 this year. Never know what could happen there. Florida State has a great year. They could sway them, but if they come out with another 5-7, 6-6 year, 7-5, I don't know if that's gonna be enough to do it. So I think that's just gonna be a guy we're just gonna have to keep tabs on Florida State going into this next year and see how they do, because clearly that's like his final 2, even though he's committed right now. But guy's a guy that grew up on UCLA and still talks about it on his Indiana podcast. Like, those upbringings run pretty deep. So, he's definitely considering it. I'm not gonna just discredit Florida State here. Like, they're totally in the picture. So, we'll see what happens. But he should know that they only offered him after he ran a 4.42, laser time, as opposed to Indiana, and also, where they were on him all over film,
And I will say, like, he was retweeting D'Angelo, like pro D'Angelo Pond stuff, like even after the offer came out. Like, I'm not like, again, and this is an awesome quote John dropped from Coach Ola Adams, but he said, we in the production business, and if you aren't producing, then you're out of business here.
And you out of business here. That's
so
true. Production over
that's phenomenal.
That's just production over potential.
But yeah, like I said, those two dudes are on top of Signetti being a master recruiter. Everyone on staff is they're very good at their job. So something to keep an eye on. Yeah. Would I be nervous about it? No. But then also,
just because he was raised, it doesn't mean like Lawrence Timmons, like this dad, is like forcing him to go. Like,
no.
Father, he's probably low key. Indiana's in a better spot, right now. They were just in the playoff.
I wrote an article for Key Sports Network back in September or August or whatever it was, about like the business of recruiting high level players, and how like that was around the time, I believe, where we flipped Davion Chandler and Burris. And like, it's just that's the game you play when you're talking to kids who are getting interest from other high level schools. It's like, these are the conversations you want to be in. Does that mean sometimes Indiana is going to be used to boost somebody's profile? Yeah, but more times than not, because of the substance and the things going on in those rooms and what Signetti's building and what they've created, like, the people who commit are committing for the right reason. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. But also, like, it's a position that we're set at. It's a position that's going to be well coached, and all those class of 2025, everybody's on campus now. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think, I don't think, and not saying the Timmons family is located in Pennsylvania. Not saying that travel for games is going to be an issue for them, considering, dad played in the NFL, but, Pennsylvania to Indiana is not that crazy of a trip to make, 6 times a year.
Sig's a Pittsburgh guy, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, like that's the Midwest attitude and all that. Like, listen, I like our position. That's all I'll say. Did it make me nervous? Did I freak out a little bit? Like when I first saw Florida State because of the family connection? Yes. I'm not going to discount the fact that he went out of his way to commit to Indiana as early as he did. So,
yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts for Indiana football, Brad?
No. I'm still at 11-1 record prediction. Still there.
Yeah, hearing Mendoza talk about double-digit wins like that really fired me up.
Mendoza, like if we just had another, like, let me give it. I'm trying to think of another portal quarterback. Like we had John Mateer, who's been kind of hyped up.
You mean ESPN's FPI number 18, Brad?
Yeah. I don't know if I would have us at 11-1, but I think there's something to be said. Like, yes, Mateer has talent, Mendoza has talent. I'm not saying Mateer doesn't have any of this stuff, but like I know for a fact Mendoza has all these intangibles, all this intelligence to him. Like there's just something to him, 6'5", prototype NFL build, NFL mobility, NFL arm, NFL IQ. I mean, it's just intangibles. It at the wazoo, door-to-door mango sales, the icing on the cherry on top, icing on the cake, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's just there's a lot to be excited for, and I'm giddy in June right now about it. And I'm gonna order my Phil Steele Midwest cover so I can have Aiden Fisher on one of my covers. I can't think of a time Indiana ever had anyone on the cover of Phil Steele. I have to look back.
Was Randall L?
I don't know if it was around then, to be honest.
Interesting.
Maybe WAP was on one of them in 2021. I'll have to look into that.
Was there a tie fry maybe?
Hold
on. But yeah, my closing thoughts for Indiana football. I'm jacked up for the season. There's 88 days until football season. We're getting Mendoza Mango stories. The SEC is upset about the fact that Indiana football exists and it's May. Like it's just this is a completely new era, and it's Oh yeah, wait. I got turned into a meme.
Alabama coming at us in June. It just makes me laugh so hard because it's like, man, how the mighty have fallen. Like, remember that quote Ryan Williams said today? I know he's asked about Vanderbilt by John Gruden, but like,
yeah, that was tough.
The fact that he's like, we're gonna kill an ant with a sledgehammer. First off,
you guys got
killing an ant with a sledgehammer is a really inefficient way to do it. So I don't know if that's how I'd phrase it. I don't know how easy it is to kill an ant with a sledgehammer. You probably miss a lot of times. Anyways, the fact that Alabama's even like talking about Vanderbilt and thinking about, and it seemed like based on his answer they've been thinking about that Vanderbilt game in the offseason. The fact that they're even thinking about Vanderbilt in an
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is there?
It's not the same as it was. It's just not.
Kalen DeBoer is at a presser talking about last year's schedule, like strength of schedule, still arguing they had some sort of merit to get in. It's like, buddy, your focus, and I like Kalen DeBoer. Like he had success at Indiana, but your focus is in the wrong place. I got turned into a meme though, Brad, for the first time. Shout out to IU Sicko.
Diego Pavia is like a solid quarterback. He's probably top 25 returning last year, but like he was getting the narratives that come out when Vanderbilt beat Alabama. All of a sudden, Diego Pavia is a top 10 quarterback in college. What are we doing? Just because he beat Bama? Like it's a team game. I don't like he played good. He played solid. It wasn't like he was like going Baker Mayfield and Pat Mahomes on him. But it's like what are people watching, man? I don't get it sometimes, but I like Diego Pavia. I think he's a solid player. Actually, oddly looks like my older brother, which is why I kind of like him. And yeah, I think he's a good player, but you cannot tell me he's that 5'10" quarterback at Vanderbilt. It's the top 10 quarterback in the country. Like you just can't convince me of that. Just can't do it.
Incredible. Yeah, we're gonna obviously Indiana football, the machine is rolling. Like we're counting down the days until like fall camp starts, and like it's coming. JD Pickle, is that his name? The On3 guy. He does a lot of like pro SEC stuff, but he comes at it with an intelligent slant. So like I don't ever want to get into it with him.
Well, he's still lost to where he still thinks the SEC 10 years ago is the same as it is right now.
But he's an intelligent. Like what is he? A Cornell guy or something? Ivy League.
He played football at Cornell.
Yeah.
So it's like, but he had the smartest guy at Cornell, but he was there. He was there.
He had a take today that was basically like ESPN FPI makes me just want to see pads hit pads again, and it's just time to play football. And I couldn't agree more with
seriously. Like that's the biggest takeaway I get. Like none of this matters. Like Missouri will always be number 21 on the FPI going into the year. They will. They just will to the end of time. They lost Brady Cook. Like I don't think like they're probably mid.
And Luther Burden.
I'm gonna go 4-8. Let's just call a spade here and just say Missouri's going 4-8 because they lost Brady Cook and Luther Burden. They don't have anyone left.
There is no off season. We'll be talking about it every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.